Another Smash DLC update, another video of me talking about it. This particular patch kind of came out of nowhere. We knew the tournament mode would eventually come, but that was slated for an August release date. And we had no idea any of this other stuff would be coming alongside it, up until 2 days before. And even then, Nintendo really didn't put much effort into announcing it. There was no direct or presentation. There was barely even any English announcements. Almost all the content was revealed in Japanese. Seriously, I had to actively search for English advertisements for this, and I only found one. It was very strangely handled, especially since the tournament mode has been a highly anticipated update to the game. It makes me wonder if a direct was planned, but Iwata's passing prevented that direct from happening in time. But enough about the announcement. Let's talk about the new content. First, as always, there's more balance changes. Several characters were buffed and several were nerfed. I'm not going to list them all here, but I'll put a link in the description that will take you to the community patch notes. Yes, it's still community patch notes, because for some reason Nintendo is the only developer on the planet that is incompetent enough not to write down what changes they make to their own games. And I'll make sure I remember to put the link in the description this time. Secondly, a new feature has been added that allows you to upload your replays directly to YouTube. I suppose this could be cool for some people, but I don't like it. Uploading takes an eternity. You can only upload replays that are 3 minutes long or less, and I'll be honest, I don't trust Nintendo with my YouTube information. Thirdly, we've got 9 brand new Mii Fighter costumes. There is a generic hoodie for each classifier, an adorable bear costume for the gunner that uses a honey jar as a gun, and the rest are based off of specific video game characters. But before I talk about them specifically, I want to say something that's been bugging me for a while about these new costumes. The Mii Fighters exist so that players can add in anybody they want to get into the game. Want to play as Shrek? You can play as Shrek. Want to play as Jesus? You can play as Jesus. Want to play as yourselves? Have at it. It's a brilliant idea that worked very well before DLC. But with DLC, it seems like they're trying to add in new characters as costumes, instead of as, you know, actual characters. I think it's meant as a compensation of sorts, acknowledging that these characters have fans, but they don't have enough time to make them into fully fledged characters. But the problem with this is that these characters don't fight like the Mii Fighter costumes. You don't suddenly fight like Link if you're wearing his outfit. It makes these characters feel like very hollow shells of what they could be. Take the Inklings as an example. The Inklings act absolutely nothing like they do in Splatoon. They're emotionless, hollow representations of what may very well be wasted potential, if the Inklings aren't added as DLC later. I should probably clarify that right now. I don't think having a costume of a character just confirms that character. And I think the people who do think that are being rather stupid. But there's no guarantee that any of these costumes will become characters, and there's no way all of them will. So no matter what happens in the future, there's going to be an awful lot of wasted potential with these costumes. That's my little rant on how these costumes have been handled. Now as for the costumes themselves, there's a Flying Man Brawler costume based on the Flying Man from Earthbound. Aesthetically it looks decent, but my time dealing with this damn bird on the Magicant stage has led me to really dislike this character. There's a KK Slider Gunner outfit, based on KK Slider from Animal Crossing. Of all the costumes in this game, this one makes the least sense. It doesn't fit the Animal Crossing universe in any way, shape, or form. He uses his guitar to shoot bullets and explosives, for God's sake. I don't know how the hell that works, but I want one. We got a Samus costume for the Mii Gunner as well, because obvious choice is obvious. For the morons who think costumes disconfirm characters, I guess this means Samus isn't in the game anymore. Oh no, the horror and scandal! There are 2 new Fire Emblem costumes, because by God, we need more Fire Emblem content in this game. The first is Chrom from Fire Emblem Awakening, who was almost a character in this game, but got scrapped in favor of Robin, and was assigned as Robin's Final Smash instead. It looks really good, but I would have preferred him to be an alt of Marth, Lucina, or Ike, because that would make more sense, and would fit his character's fighting style much better. In addition to Chrom, they added, oh my god, it's the Black Knight! I cannot stress this enough, This costume is epic! The Black Knight would have made such a cool character, could have been an extremely heavy sword character with projectiles, basically what Ganondorf should have been, but in this case, I don't care. It's too short, way too quick, doesn't hit nearly as hard as the Black Knight should, but it turns your Mii into an intimidating badass. It's easily my favorite Mii Fighter costume. There was one other Sword Fighter costume added, an extremely surprising, bittersweet reveal. Lloyd Irving from Tales of Symphonia. I've never played a Tales game, so I don't have any sort of attachment to Lloyd, but I have played Super Smash Flash, so I think I have a general knowledge of how awesome Lloyd could be as a fighter. It's a very cool costume. I really like that he got recognition at all. It's way more than I expected him to get, but I doubt he'll be made into an actual character, and that makes me kind of sad. Also, his hair physics are ridiculous. And the last costume, easily the most controversial, is King K. Rool from the Donkey Kong games. This is the biggest example of wasted potential. K. Rool is an interesting character, extremely popular. If he isn't winning the fighter ballot, he's very near the top. But this costume doesn't represent him well at all. It certainly looks good, his belly physics in particular are hilarious, but once the Mii starts moving, it just looks awkward. K. Rool is gigantic and fat. He acts nothing like the acrobatic, flexible Mii brawler. There are very few people who are happy about this costume. I haven't actually seen one of them, but I'm sure they exist somewhere. After the whole Ridley debacle, is that how you say that word? I don't know. I don't like trying to think too hard about what Sakurai might be planning for a character. But this would make a ton of sense as a marketing ploy. Like I said in my last video, making a costume of K. Rool, then releasing him later as a character, allows them to get a lot more money off of K. Rool, without adding on too much effort. But if K. Rool doesn't become a character, I don't think there's any other explanation other than Sakurai just really hates K. Rool, and doesn't want to make him a character. People will argue that they're just saving him for the next Smash game, but Sakurai designs each Smash game like it's his last, and this one probably will be his last. It sucks, especially after Sakurai claiming that he's making the DLC for fan service, but there's not much we can do about it. That's all about the costumes. Let's talk about the new stages. There were 2 new stages added in this patch, Hyrule Castle and Peach's Castle, both from Smash Bros. 64. They each come with a brand new remix, as well as the classic music that played on them on the Nintendo 64, as well as a few related songs from other games. Hyrule Castle was one of my favorite stages in Smash 64, and they recreated it perfectly. Project M's version is better, but I still love the stage. Brings back fond memories. As for Peach's Castle, I don't like this stage. You can actually grab onto the moving ledge this time, which is good, but this was my least favorite stage from Smash 64. I would have much rather had Yoshi's Island or Saffron City, especially Saffron City. And finally, the mode that we've all been waiting for. We can finally create and play in tournaments online in a Smash Bros. Game! I can't wait to try this. I'm gonna compete against a ton of people, gonna make tournaments for my viewers, it's gonna be competitive, extravaganza, fun. It sucks. It really, really sucks. I get it, Sakurai, you want people to play your game as a party game. I understand that. But you are, to the point that I'm starting to believe it's intentional, leaving out key features that make this game harder for competitive players to enjoy. The lack of a stage hazard toggle being the most prominent. What you don't seem to realize is that these features do not detract from the enjoyment of the casual audience. The only thing you're achieving here is upsetting the competitive crowd. And when you design a mode whose very name indicates that's for competitive use, yet still refuse to include crucial features, it just makes me sad. So what's wrong with tournament mode? First off, if you're wanting to custom make a tournament like I was, you are stuck with 4-player free-for-all games. That isn't conducive to competitive play in any way, shape, or form. People want to play 1v1 in a competitive setting. That or team battles, which you can't do either. I was planning on making tournaments for my viewers to compete in, and I'm still gonna do it. I'm going to create the tournament as soon as this video is uploaded, but I probably won't do very many. The lack of features has killed off all my excitement for this. But at least we can play 1v1 in the regular tournament modes, right? If only. First off, If the functionality for a 1v1 tournament exists, why in God's name can't we make them? Second, let's look at the rules for these matches. They are 2 stock, 3-minute games. For some context, the Smash Wii U matches at the EVO Gaming Tournament were 2 stock, 6-minute matches, and those ones will still time out. A good half of the games I've played have timed out, and that's when I get to play the games. Because these tournaments fill up very quickly. If you wanted to play a 4 Glory tournament, you might have to wait half an hour to even join the game, just to get timed out by a spamming Duck Hunt dog. Or you can join the 4 Fun tournaments that are always open, because nobody wants to play a competitive mode like that. It's so close to being good. So close. But it's missing a few key features. Not even missing them. It's just not utilizing them. I really hope this gets patched in the future. So all in all, I don't think this was a very good update. The stages are awesome, but everything else is a mixed bag of lost potential and bad game design. That's all I've got to say on this patch. If you guys are still interested in entering the tournament, I'll have the information in the comments below. I'm trying to finish my next video on the new top 10 as soon as possible. I had it slated to be finished last week, but it's still not close to being done. I hope I'll finish it soon. Unless a Nintendo Direct happens, it should be the next video I post. So until then, I hope you're all enjoying life. Let me know your thoughts on this patch in the comments below, and I'll see you soon. Bye!